Let me present this bad boy right here.
Sorry, I gotta admit it this way.
All right, so if you're taking pictures in the upper left-hand corner, obviously, quality introduction. My name is Manny Soto. I am a managing partner and CEO of the company, The Financial Architects. We have more than 16 locations, 15 of which are here in Southern California. We do not do real estate. I want to give my disclaimer right here. We do not do real estate, but we're connected with several different realtors, some of which are on this Zoom as we speak about this particular subject matter. So as time goes on, I want you to know something. All of the facts and figures that I've done research on, they're very, very important for you to understand in the near future. But I know you're going to have questions. The reason why I believe I should speak about this subject matter is because for most people, you feel like your real estate agent is a salesperson. If they don't sell properties or they don't recommend you to buy a piece of property, they don't make money. So a lot of consumers, they're apprehensive about taking their real estate professionals' advice because they believe it's obviously commingled with their pockets. They're thinking, oh, he's just saying that because he's trying to sell me a piece of real estate, yada, yada, yada. I do not do real estate. Again, I am a financial strategist. So as you get into the details, the weeds of the presentation, I'm going to be mentioning a lot of different resources. Anna Acosta, how you doing? Anna owns a Keller Williams in Anaheim, and she put a Financial Architects inside of her already successful real estate and tax business. Welcome to the call. So without further ado, let me jump into the information. I've been doing this for roughly 18 years now. So I've had a securities license. I own an investment advisory firm. We have more than 120 representatives inside of our company already with more than 16 different locations. I've got tons of different experience. So have I seen the crashes? Have I seen the dips? Absolutely. So I've been there, done that, seen the movie, got the t-shirt, rented the video. It's on YouTube, and I'm subscribing now to a lot of the different financial factors that I'm going to go through, okay? The locations are in your upper left-hand corner, but if you ever Yelp us, you're going to find some very good reviews. All right, next. So to start the presentation, I don't want you to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Let me explain. For most of us, we think, oh my gosh, what a great idea. I'm going to jump full force into this aspect of financial planning. You're missing the boat, okay? Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. If you're doing good already, I'm not saying change your whole strategy of investments. Maybe work on it a little bit and change it as time goes on. So that's very important to understand. Do not throw the baby out with the bathwater. So in the pictures, as you can see, a lot of people have equity inside of their houses. They bought a house in 2014 and they got 150 grand of equity inside of their house. They've spoken to a guy like me who doesn't believe in paying off your house. They said, man, if I really believe in real estate, I should refinance, pull equity out, pay off all my non-deductible debt, and now put it into another piece of property, if that makes sense, what he's saying. If I really believe in real estate or investments, I should be doing that. So kudos to you, that's fine. But a lot of people, they have different ideas. One of their ideas is, I had a buddy of mine, he called me, he goes, hey dude, I think real estate's about to fall. I'm gonna sell my piece of property and I'm gonna put all my money into Bitcoin. What do you think? And I'm the guy that's more diversified, right? I got a diversified mindset. I'm like, yeah, I don't know, bro. That's really risky. Don't put all your eggs into one basket, right? So I'm going to grab a pen right now and I'm going to share some of the specific. Actually, I won't even grab a pen. I'll go through that as time goes on. So they think about upgrading their bathroom. They think about upgrading their living room. They think about buying Bitcoin or cryptocurrency right here to the left. They think about putting money in the stock market versus putting it all into their property. They think about buying their dream car, a Mercedes or a Porsche. Here's what I'll submit to you. Ideas are not always good. So as I get into the body of the presentation, I want you to know everyone's going to have some sort of ideas, and there's not a one size fits all. I can't put a size 5 on a guy that wears a size 11. Okay. Secondarily, we all have life events. So I just made a commitment to my organization, and I said, hey, we're going to do something called TFA Kids. We're going to do something else called TFA Teens, where we're going to teach people how to actually save money before they spend money. So if you know anything about children, lots of people on this Zoom here, you have children and you're trying to foster independence. But if you're anything like me, you have not learned the right way. I was always taught, go to work, spend everything that you got, and that's it. So you go along with life and you have different mentors. I want to keep it very simple for the kids. So here's the kids thinking, work, and they spend it all. Now I want to make it really simple where they work, save, and then spend. Work, save, spend, repeat. Work, save, spend, repeat. So as we start this nonprofit and we start to help kids to better understand the laws of money, I think it's important that all of us adopt it as well. I'd rather teach a child how to be great than try and fix broken adults. Make sense? So if you look at the work category, it says it all right there, get shit done. If you look at the save category, there's a lot of different options of saving. I can put it into my bank account at Wells Fargo and get a 0% return, but it looks good on my statements. I could put it in the stock market and have full risk. I could get a life insurance policy and get some returns on my investment. I could put it into cryptocurrency or put it into gold, or I can get a mortgage and I can leverage equities, which is what I'm going to talk about in a second. So if we work, then we save 30% of what we make, then spend the 70%. Us as a nation will not be giving up the king role, if you will, because there's a lot of other countries right now that are chomping at the bit, okay? Work, save, spend. Work, save, spend. All right, moving on. I'm going to talk about real estate in about 5 minutes, but before we talk about that, I'd like to share that before you get involved into anything, you need to have an exit strategy, okay? Here's what I mean by that. You have to start with an exit strategy in mind because you'll no longer have a goal if you don't have an exit strategy. Let me stop sharing for a second and explain this to you, okay? Here's what I mean by that. If I have a goal, let's say I'll call on somebody as a matter of fact. George, you mind role playing for me, bro? George, if you can go off of mute because I can see that you're in an office in a quiet area. So, right. George, did you and your wife go on a trip for your honeymoon?
No, we didn't actually.
Okay, so if you had a dream honeymoon, I know that you talk to the missus a lot because she's out there in the field with you. If you wanted to travel on a honeymoon, where would you like to go? Where would she like to go?
Well, we're kind of taking one in a couple of weeks. We're going to Costa Rica.
Oh, nice. Okay. So let's say you jump into my plane, Costa Rica, and I say over the loudspeaker, good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to our flight. I want to welcome especially George and his wife. They're going to Costa Rica. They're going on vacation. I want to let everyone know that I have no directions on how to get there, but I'm going to get there somehow. I have no life raft just in case we dive into the sea, and I don't have any gas. I don't even know what the gas gauge says. Would that be a smart flight to take, George?
Hell no.
Of course not. So my exit strategy in this analogy is retirement. We've never been there before. We've never been to our destination. So we're forced to look at other scenarios of this destination, and everybody's got an opinion. But here's what's crazy. The blue elephant in the room is thinking about where you want to be in the future. So if I could put that in your reticular activator for a second, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's very important to think about that first. as you dive into real estate for a second, okay? So moving on, you can mute yourself now, George. All right, so moving on. So here's the 3 questions that you should be asking yourself. Number 1, when would you like the opportunity not to work any longer? If you're anything like my buddy Ish, who's on the Zoom right now, he loves to work. He loves to go out there and get dirty and talk to people and communicate and close people and protect people's lives and things of that nature that he does. He does multiple things. So he's very busy, right? But if he broke his back, he'd want the opportunity not to work anymore, okay? So having the opportunity is very important. So at what age would you like to have that opportunity? Number 2 question, how much money would you be comfortable to live on with at the same standard of living? That's very important, okay? So if I have a financial independence number, I go, hey, I need to retire with $22,000 a month, then now I have a goal of how much I need to retire on. And then question number 3 is, would you like the income taxable or non-taxable? Very important question, okay? So that destination is very important. Here's what some of the advisors ask. They know that there's good and bad options. What's your risk tolerance? So are you risky investor or are you not so risky? When do you want to realize the gains in your options, in your investments? So people invest into, let's say, Dogecoin right now, which is big, or GME, which is GameStop. And they think, oh man, it's inflated stock or it's inflated cryptocurrency, but they want to get in and get out. So as an advisor, we go, okay, well, when are you anticipating on getting out? And we take that into account. You have to take that into account as well. Lastly is, if an emergency arose, do you have insurance in place to hedge the risk, and what type is it? 3 very important questions, okay? So now that you have some foundation, let's make some money decisions, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if you look at my graph there, if you're taking notes, I don't know if you know this or not, but 35% of what is out there that we're spending right now has been printed in the last 10 months. Let me say that again. 35% of the money being exchanged in the United States today, right now, has been printed in the past 10 months. So if you look at that graph, you see where, hey, well, we've been printing money because population is growing. We think it's important. The US government says, you know what? This is important that everyone has a little bit more cash to spend. Well, let's go ahead and draw on this graph. Look at that right there. Boom. Is that pretty gnarly or what? Tell me that's significant, ladies and gentlemen. I'll zoom in on that bad boy if you want me to. Is that crazy that the government goes, you know what? We're just going to throw some more money out there, make sure that everyone's okay. Boom. Let's just print it up right there. So the past 10 months, we have printed more money than ever. And now we're wondering to ourselves, look, real estate's going up. And I'm going to show you that in a second right here, okay? So that's a pretty huge graph, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to go through some other specifics right now. Now, here's what I'll tell you at the very top. The numbers don't lie, people do. Is that not true? Numbers don't lie, people do. So if you told me 1 + 1 is 17, I'd go, nah, I took a math class in elementary school and that just doesn't add up, you know? So obviously we think to ourselves, let's look at the numbers. Let's not look at somebody just fanning a fire, okay? So here's some specific investments that have made rates of return. You have and I'm gonna grab a highlighter now, okay? So here's a pointer that I'm adding. So there's savings accounts, there's stocks, bonds portfolio, there's mutual funds, there's gold and silver, there's life insurance policies with cash value, there's annuities, there's cryptocurrency, and then of course our subject matter, which is real estate. And that's going to include units and commercial property. I have a good friend of mine, Ahmed. If you guys are ever looking for a commercial property or someone to do your due diligence with, Ahmed is very good at doing the due diligence. He has a ton of experience in doing so. Commercial is his game. So ask yourself a question, okay? and I'm going to go off of this. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. Here's my question to you. If you had $25,000 right here, you got 25 grand, and you have the option to put into what I just went down, those bullet points, that's the common denominators of investments, okay? If I had 25 grand and I have a choice, I go, I'm going to put this 25 grand into a non-interest bearing checking account. Who in their right mind would do that when you know that inflation is at 4%? It seems commonsensical to us, but common sense just ain't too common. Or I can grab the 25 grand and I can put it into cryptocurrency. And now knowing that I've gotten more than a 200% rate of return in this bucket, I now have to ask myself, wow, I've made this much returns on this money. Now I have to pay taxes on the capital gains of the money. Or I grab my 25 grand, I put it as a down payment on a $500,000 piece of property. I think to myself, man, I can get a $500,000 equity for $25,000 down, and I can borrow the rest, and all the equity that's built in, I can capitalize on long-term growth. Seems common sense, doesn't it? You go, well, and just so everyone understands this, your Merrill Lynch stockbroker, have him sit with me, please. He better bag a lunch, because yes, the stock market's done better in returns than real estate. Let's just say 10 to 11%, hypothetically speaking. But if my real estate does 6%, I still beat you, because I can leverage my money, purchase a piece of property, and capitalize on long-term growth. Seems common sense, right? And I can deduct it, twist my arm. Very commonsensical. There's only two vehicles that you can finance with a down payment, and then you can borrow the rest. There's a retirement plan, number one. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but you can finance your retirement plan. That's right. Let me say that again. You can finance your retirement plan. Well, Manny, how come no one ever told me that? Well, no one knows about it. There's like 95% of people that don't even talk about that, because they're used to dealing with broke people. So they talk about concepts like buy term and invest the difference. Hey, that makes sense. Well, I'm getting on a soap dish, but that's number one. You can finance your retirement plan. And number two, you can finance a piece of property. So why would I take my 25 grand and put it into one equity that only doubles with that amount of money? Why wouldn't I leverage the bank and borrow the money, especially now, which is a subject matter that I'll get into, okay? I'm preaching to the choir right now, I know, but I want to overview this correctly and positively, okay? Some of my guys are shocked. They're like, man, that does make sense. All right, so here's real estate at a glance, ladies and gentlemen, okay? These are some staggering facts right now. March 2021, year over year, the median sales price, let me draw on this for a second. I'll get a symbol with a heart. The median sales price right now, year over year, March of 2000. So if you bought a house March of 2020 and you're looking to sell it March of 2021, you would have gotten 11.8% rate of return in LA County. The average home value is at $880,000, ladies and gentlemen. March of 2021 in Orange County. I know some of you guys are like, man, I'm gonna go to the beach, bump this music. It was year over year, 16% rate of return, $1,025,000. If you bought a piece of property in Orange County in 2020 March, COVID is popping, you know, everything's been getting shut down. You bought at the right time. You were sitting there like a fat rat in a cheese factory, just cold chilling. Now you would have gotten a 16% rate of return. Let's throw wind at the fire. In Riverside County, you would have gotten a 23% rate of return on a piece of real estate. Is that crazy? These are all year over year factors, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Here's another fact, real estate at a glance. There's low inventory. Here's what this means. There's too many people and not enough freaking real estate. There's too many people like, I need a piece of real estate. I want to buy right now. I'm willing to, let me get the appraisal contingency. Let me just bump that. I don't even need that. I want a property right now. You know what? 12, 15, 30 offers. Man, I'm going to pay over. I want to pay over what it's worth. I don't care. I want to get a piece of property. Okay. So there's low inventory. And then right now, lo and behold, there's low interest rates, the lowest interest rates ever in American history right now, ladies and gentlemen. Is that not shocking? If you're not taking a picture of this slide, you're not going on social media right now. You're not going on the gram and going, facts, hashtag facts. This is why I'm in real estate. You got to have your head examined right now. It's unbelievable times right now, okay? Let me bring you back to earth for a second, okay? Oops. Clear drawings. I took a fat burner like an hour ago, you guys, so I'm on one right now, all right? So don't hate the player, hate the game. All right, let's look at historical performance. Look at you realtors in the house, you're gonna love these. This is amazing. Matter of fact, if you're an investor in real estate, you're gonna love these graphs. My dad thinks he's the most intelligent dude ever. He's like, yeah, man, I bought this piece of property back in 2011. Let me tell you, I got in, blah, blah, blah. I got my loan and yeah, I just refinanced and I did this. And I paid $1,800. My dad thinks he's a wizard. I have to share something with you. And I love my dad to death. It doesn't make him intelligent. It makes him fortunate to be in the absolute best real estate market ever, which I'll make the case for in a second. Okay. I'm not going to bring up, well, I am in a second, but let's go through the numbers really quick. LA County, again, I'm preaching to the choir, I know, but I want to overview this before I get into why you should be listing your property right now, okay? LA County in 1996, check this out. LA County, $184,000 you could have purchased a property in LA County. Back in 1996, ladies and gentlemen. In 2001, $269,000 in LA County. In 2011, 10 years ago, you could have bought a house for $384,000 in 2011, guys. Tell me that's not a shocker. I mean, seriously, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. But it's unbelievable what's happening right now, okay? 1996 in Orange County, 226,000, 2011, 513,000. Riverside County has been the absolute most profitable when it comes to percentage wise, but it also has the biggest dips, which I'll get into in a second. If you live in Riverside County and you're not selling your piece of property and it's an investment property, you got to have your head examined. I mean, real talk. If it's an investment property, and I'll make the case in a second, I'm fanning the fire right now, okay? Pardon my progress, if you will. All right. So what does all these factors mean, ladies and gentlemen? I'm going to make the case in a second, okay? So let me go on to the next slide. All right. So why does real estate go up or down? Here's the big three, if you guys are taking notes. Number one, obviously, because of inventory or the lack thereof. Number two, mortgage rates. So if someone goes, oh man, the mortgage rates are falling, this is incredible. And number three, unemployment percentages. So as I get into the facts, this is important for everyone to understand. It's all based on supply and demand. If there's less supply, then there's more demand. If there's more supply, then there's less demand. So here's the biggest question that you're hearing from all of your buyers right now. Did they accept my offer? And you as the realtor, you go, that's funny. This guy does not know what's going on. This is unbelievable what's happening right now. Did they accept my offer? What a funny question. Of course, they didn't accept your offer. It went with 20 other offers. So if you look at this graph, I'm going to bring the pen out again. This is by year what's happening. So this white area right here is a recession. So if you're looking at the graph, every white area that's going north and south is a recession. So if you look at 1982, we were in bad shape. There were a ridiculous amount of houses. So inventory was high. So obviously supply was high and demand was low. So what did it do to real estate prices? They dumped. If you look at 1991, my dad unfortunately lost his, man, this is going to be recorded. He's going to be pissed off at me. But back when I lived in Diamond Bar, California, my dad had a house and we went through a recession and there were some challenges. And unfortunately, he was never taught to save 30% of what he made. So, you know, it is what it is. Supply was high, demand was low. Look at 2008 and 9 right here. That's crazy, isn't it? Supply was way high, demand was way low. Our real estate in Inland Empire fell to the tune of close to 40%, ladies and gentlemen. Vegas was a ghost town. Nobody wanted to buy out there because there was a ton of inventory and anybody can push through an offer and it would probably be accepted. If you look at today during the pandemic, look at our inventory. It is low, low, low. All right, next slide, check this out. Hopefully you guys are getting a lot of value out of this. Is that crazy or what? All right. So I termed the top, I can borrow money. Who cares about paying it back right now? To your left is gonna be interest rate graph. To your right is gonna be an unemployment graph. Let me say that again. I gotta get this on Snap. So to the left, you're gonna see the interest rate graph. To the right, you're gonna see unemployment graph. Now, if you're anything like me, I'm weird. I like to research things. I like to look into stuff. And it's unbelievable what's popping right now. So to the left, if you look at interest rates, back in 1982, interest rates were at 18%. 18%, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me that's not craziness. If you look at today, interest rates are never, ever going lower. How are they going to go lower? It used to be people kick the can down the road. They're like, oh man, you know, we'll just lower interest rates. Well, you can't do that anymore. Right now, it's absurd. It's not going to happen. Let me stop sharing for a second. Okay. So here's what happened. In 1982, you could have gotten an interest rate at 18%. CDs were paying like 10%. Flashback. Some of you millennials, you were born in 1980, you're born in 1990 or whatever, and you're like, oh man, you know, real estate is going to keep going up. You've never been to this story before. Let me tell you, when things go up like that, nobody wants to buy anything at a 17% return or 17% rate. But if your property was $30,000, you could afford a 17, 18% rate. Unemployment had a big difference in that, didn't it? Unemployment was over 10% in 1982. So if your unemployment was high, interest rates are high, the Fed goes, oh man, we got to bump interest rates because it's going to cause some ruckus, if you will. All the graphs are pointing to one direction, and I'm going to prove the case in a second. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and type them in the bar, and I have several people on here that can answer any of your questions because I have real estate professionals, I got lending professionals, I got commercial professionals, I got financial advisors, I got financial strategists, I have retirement pros, you name it, we got them busy and ready to go. All right, so pretty cool graph, right? So interest rates to the left, unemployment to the right. If you look at 2009, our unemployment rate was over 10% again. It was actually at 9.9% if you're quoting numbers. So if you think back and you think of unemployment, all you really have to do is gauge the unemployment, gauge the need, the inventory, and then gauge exactly what the interest rates are doing. Commonsensical, right? All right, let's move on. Boom. All right. So here's my forward question. Okay. What else can go right? Here's why I say that. It's like the absolute perfect storm, ladies and gentlemen. What else can go right is my question. Here's what the government has said to us. It's okay. Don't evict anybody. Don't evict anybody. You know what? You're out of money. We got you. Where would you like the money sent? You know, you need some stimulus? No worries. We got you, bro. Let me just shoot you $1,400. Let me just shoot you $600. Let me just push you some money. Lose your job? We'll direct deposit more than you were making every week right now. My sister, I love my sister very much, okay? My sister came from Texas. She goes, I'm asking her, I'm like, dude, you're taking like 2 weeks off of work? I'm like, damn, baller. She's like, no, I'm on unemployment. I said, unemployment? What the hell? Gotta mute him. Hold up. I already got it. All right, so I told her, I go, unemployment? What are you making in unemployment? She goes, I make $1,400 a week. I'm like, what? I was blown away, ladies and gentlemen. I was like, there's no way this is happening. Like, I know that some of my guys got a ton of money from a loan or this, that. They're giving out money. They're giving out money like it's a lollipop right now. Did you know that years ago, they're throwing this thing out with Biden right now? And I actually like a lot of the things that Biden's doing, by the way, okay? And I'm going to plead my case in a second. They're throwing out a bunch of different facts. And one of the graphs, you know how these graphs can be kind of manipulated, right? One of the graphs shows that Biden has bumped the S&P 500, the investments, to the tune of 8.6%. There's only been better when JFK was in office at 8.9%, first 100 days. Here's what's crazy. Did we not just print out 35? We just printed a ton of money. 35% again of our money circulation has been printed in the past 10 months. So if you got a bunch of money, what are you going to do? You're either going to spend it on goods, which government's real good at understanding us as consumers. We love buying stuff to make us feel better. We do, number one, we spend it, or number two, we save. Pretty commonsensical, right? So it's no wonder the market's doing so good, because you got all this money in circulation. And if I got a bigger pocket, I'm like, well, I got to put it somewhere. Oh shit. My dude was on Snapchat the other day. He bought in some stock on GME. So-and-so bought some Bitcoin. Let's get into that. There's a ton of different money being circulated right now, okay? So graphs are being manipulated right now, but you're going to see the projection in a second. All right. Let's go back to sharing. All right. So, and then lastly, I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but you know that there's a proposal to get passed that if you don't like your job, you're just like, oh man, I'm going to quit because I just don't feel like it. You're getting 75% of what you're getting paid if you quit your job. Not get fired, not get laid off, if you don't feel like being there. That's the proposition right now. It's out of control, okay? Can't make your mortgage payment? Defer at a click of a button. We all know that we've been there, right? There's some craziness happening right now. Oh, let me go back so I could stress this right now, okay? How long can this go on? Let me circle this bad boy right here. Let me circle this right here. If you're taking a video right here, let me ask you a fact-finding question, okay? And everyone take a picture of this. Everyone write this down. How long can this go on? Let me bring you back for a second, okay? For a second. I ain't got no money. Oh, we got you. Let me send you a stimulus check. I'm unemployed. We got you. We're going to bump. We're unemployment. We're going to, we got this, okay? Don't sweat it. I can't make my mortgage payment. Oh, deferment. We got you. Click, click. We're good. How long can that go on? Please let me know that. How long is this going to keep going on and inventory's low and all this other stuff? This is called, ladies and gentlemen, something called quantitative easing. Okay. Right here, I'm going to circle it for you guys. Right here. Quantitative easing. Does anybody know what quantitative easing is, please unmute yourself and just go ahead and chime in right now. What is quantitative easing? No one wants to take the risk, huh? Here's my definition of quantitative easing. All right. And I was sharing this with Jay-Z earlier, and she was like, oh shit, that's a good example, Manny. Here's a anybody ever broke up with a girlfriend or a boyfriend? And you go, oh man, I can't give them the hammer. I gotta like string it out. I'm gonna go through quantitative breaking up. So I know I used to see them 5 days a week, but now I'm gonna cut it to 4. And then a month later, I'm gonna cut it to 2. And after that, I'm like, oh man, I'm busy, and oh, something came up. That's called quantitative easing. Like, oh, don't stress that you're breaking up after 3-6 months, okay? The high school days, that's how I know this stuff, okay? So here's what happens with financial quantitative easing. What they're saying in reality is, we're not gonna lay down the sledgehammer and just have you guys all out on the street, because that would be craziness. We're gonna slowly put you out there, okay? That's my definition of quantitative easing. I don't know if you like it or not, but hey, it's getting some publicity. All right, almost done with this, and then we'll turn to some questions. Let's talk politics for a second. These are President Biden's cliff notes of proposals. And this is all leading up to what I believe you should be doing, which is selling off your investment properties right now. I have realtors on standby right now that I could refer you to. I'm the gatekeeper. Okay. All right, here we go. Number 1, elimination of the 1035 exchange, as well as the step up in inheritance. By the way, this was established back in 1921, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me that's unbelievable. Tell me that's not unbelievable. I actually like this. I'm going to explain why in a second. So if you eliminate, actually, I'll stop sharing for a second. If you eliminate the 1031 exchange option or possibility, if I buy a piece of property and I'm 30 years old for $200,000, and I turn around and I've made, let's say the property now is worth $1 million, that's an $800,000 capital gain just in the real estate, okay? But if I take that $800,000 and I buy another property that's more, I get to tax-free roll the $800,000 in my new property purchase. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna keep doing that. Eliminating the 1031 exchange. That's Biden's proposal, okay? Step 2, if I inherit that property, let's say my dad bought it years ago and it's worth 1.2 million and he paid 200,000. When he passes away, I get something called a step up. So now the value of the property is 1.2 million inherited by me. So if I go and sell that property for 2 million, I'm only looking at an $800,000 capital gain tax. Doing away with step up. Okay. Pretty crazy, right? I like that though. Here's why. I got it. Just sharing. Okay. As a financial strategist, you need a life insurance policy to hedge that tax. Oh, got you. Right here. Holla. So cool for me, bad for everyone else, unfortunately. Just sharing. Okay, let's move on. Step up. You got to talk to me. All right. So number 2, capital gains tax. This is a big one, ladies and gentlemen. Capital gains tax is going from 20% long-term capital gains to 40%. And I'm rounding, nerds out there, okay? Don't nerd out on me. So I'm rounding 20% going to 40%, doubling the capital gains tax. If I'm in a mutual fund and I have $100,000 that I deposited into my stock portfolio, let's say, and it grows here, I'll stop sharing. If I have 100,000 and I put it in my stock portfolio and it's gained $50,000 and I hold on to it for longer than 1 year, I have to pay capital gains taxes on my $50,000. If it's 20%, I have to pay $10,000 to the IRS. All right, got you. I'm gonna pay my half. If it goes to 40%, I'm paying $20,000. Now, mind you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just sharing, okay? The proposal would normally not be active until 2022. Hint, hint. I wonder when real estate's crashing. I hear all these people ask, where's real estate? When it's crashing, man? What's the right time? I'm just making the case, okay? So if and when that passes, it's supposed to raise billions of dollars, ladies and gentlemen. So I had a text message earlier and they were asking, hey, I've invested into Dogecoin, okay? My good friend of mine, I'm not gonna put her on blast. But she goes, I put money into Dogecoin. I've made a good return. Can I pull it out with no taxes? And I said, unfortunately, no. The government wants their piece, even with cryptocurrency right now, okay? So you're too late to the show, but Dogecoin is on the move still. All right. Let me read some of your comments. Nice AMG. How's the $15,000 tax credit? Homeowners. I'll have one of the lenders talk about that. I paid 14% in interest on my property in 1984. Deepak, you got some stuff going on, man. Val said, question, so the step up, does it apply to properties that are still in a trust? Good question. I'll refer you my trust attorney. I'm not going to get into the weeds too much now. All right, and then second to last, corporate tax rates increase from 21 to 28%. I believe they'll more than likely negotiate it to 25%. The bottom line is this, shit rolls downhill. So you got to pay the piper at some point in time. We can't keep printing money and no one pays for it, all right? And then lastly, I already shared this, I had to quit my job. So 75% will be given to you and paid for, okay? Talking about junior colleges being paid for, talking about the middle class being lifted. We're talking about a bunch of different things that I got to tell you guys, I'm excited to see happen because, you know, let me stop sharing for a second. There's three types of people. There's people that make things happen. I would like to put myself in that category. There's people that watch things happen. They're like, whoa, hey, whoo. And there's other people that go, what the hell just happened? The people that say, what the hell just happened? They're normally not on a Zoom at 7 p.m. at night trying to sharpen the saw of investments. Just got to keep it bold for you guys, okay? All right, almost done with this presentation. All right, so that's one factor. Number two factor, which I like to speak about, is the 4 stages of economics and how it follows the S&P 500. Let me explain. If you're looking at the graph called business cycle in the upper left-hand corner, let me grab a pen really quick. That business cycle has 4 steps. Usually, it starts with expansion, which would be to the left. The second stage is the peak. The third stage is a contraction. And the fourth stage is a trough, okay? Now, please follow me on this. You see how this business cycle, the 4 stages of economics, it somewhat mirrors this S&P 500. This is as of today. We were down almost a full point in the S&P today. So the S&P 500, when it's high, well, let me backtrack, okay? So the 4 stages of economics, it goes like this. It's kind of like a wave, right? It goes expansion. This causes inflation. The peak, this caps out, right? This is where interest rates starts to rise and everyone stops shopping. Contraction, that's where people start to lose their ass. Their stock portfolio starts to get crumbled. That's where the real estate market starts to dive. And then the trough. There's 4 stages of economics. This is Econ 101. If you went to JC, you learned this stuff, okay? But if you didn't, I'm overviewing, all right? Expansion is when everything is going great. You're like, man, my real estate went from nothing to something. I grew by 16% over the past 12 months. This is unbelievable. This is awesome. What goes up though, you guessed it, has to come down. It can't keep going like this, ladies and gentlemen. So this basic economic cycle, it just goes up and down, up and down, up and down. If we have just expansion, it causes inflation, okay? You do not want that. You'd be paying $2,000 for your tennis shoes. And if they're not Louis Vuitton, you can't pay $2,000 for your hush puppies, okay? So 4 stages. Secondarily, the S&P 500 that I just shared with you, that stands for the Standard & Poor's 500. This is also known as the top 500 companies on Wall Street in America. So this is absolutely probably the gauge to our America, not to mention our world, because it's the #1 indicator in the #1 economy, which is us, America, all right? Hopefully forever. So the 500 top companies, it also goes like this. So you could pretty much gauge when an expansion is happening and when the trough is about to come, or the depression or the contraction is about to come, okay? So let me go back to sharing this model again. Now, if you look at the S&P 500, if you followed my explanation, this S&P 500 historically has gone up and down, up and down, up. Oh, I wonder where's it going? No way. It can't keep going up, can it? So if you're looking at this graph, expansion, peak, contraction. You guys remember 2008 and 9? Expansion, contraction, expansion. You see, we're in the thick of an 11 to 12-year bull run, ladies and gentlemen. Let me stop sharing this for a second because I really want to get this point across. So there's bull runs and there's bear markets. There's bull markets and there's bear runs. So we're like this. What goes up must, I'll let you finish that sentence, okay? So cause and effect. Very important for you to understand the relationship behind the 4 stages of economics and the S&P 500, how in association, it's also gone up and down. So you can pretty much look at historical performance and project the futuristic path, okay? I don't have a damn crystal ball, but I can tell you one thing. If I got an investment property and I'm looking at selling in the next 3 months, I probably want to do that right now. Absolutely right now, okay? A lot of you realtors out there, you're going to share this video because I ain't a realtor and I'm coming from a source of love. All right. Let's see another question here. Question, what is the rule of thumb for down payment on commercial riverfront property? All right. Nina, if you could can you type in our number and our YouTube and all that stuff, if you could type it in the chat bar. Nina, thank you so much for the question. If Ahmed is still on here, he can answer that question for you because he does do commercial. If he knows the answer to that, he's going to ask you what state, he's going to ask you a bunch of different questions. Matter of fact, let me finish the presentation, which I'm almost done with, and then I'll open it to him. Hang tight, Ahmed. All right. So obviously we got some stuff going on. And then lastly is going to be population factors. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the perfect storm of aging residents, low birth rate, COVID-19 deaths and immigration cutbacks, 16 states saw population decreases last year as the USA experienced the slowest national population growth since the Great Depression. If you know population, which I track a lot, population is important. Here's why. The bigger the population, the more shoppers we have, the more consumers we have. As a whole, in the whole world, the United States has 4.5% of the population in the world. Craziness to think about, right? 4.5%. As the United States, we're at what, 324 million people in the United States. I don't know if you know this or not, but in California, 39 million people in California alone. Roughly what? 11, 12% of our American population is in California, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty crazy. I heard number five economy in the world. I've heard number 7. I heard it all, but they're a big economy. All right, almost done. So that's a pretty big factor, right? And then lastly, but definitely not least, what goes up must come, you guessed it, down. All right. Now here's what I'll close with. Opinions backed by facts are what consumers are looking for, ladies and gentlemen. They're not looking for you to give them some gimmick. They're not looking for someone to tell them your commission, or they're not looking for a Facebook post on you having a drink on their dime. Have a drink. I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Go out and have a drink, you know what I'm saying? But they want to know that you have their best interest in mind. This is the primary reason why the financial architects, we are financial strategists. So when we get a client that walk into our front doorstep, we go, hey, what are your needs and goals? They may be stretching out and go, hey, I got $27,000 in my checking account. I'm looking at purchasing a real estate, or I'm looking at purchasing real estate, and it's not my primary, it'd be my secondary. And in that scenario, you know, we'd make some different recommendations. Now, I'm not sitting here telling you never to buy a primary home that's going to be your family home. If it's your first home, you get a bigger deduction. It's somewhere that's going to be for the next 20 and 30 years. Common sense would just say, yeah, go ahead and buy a house, damn it. You need the deduction anyways. But if you're looking at a secondary property, obviously, it's just not going to make any sense right now, in my opinion. Number 2 is numbers don't lie, people do. I already talked about that. And then number 3, if it don't make dollars, it won't make sense. If it don't make dollars, it won't make sense. I'm going to do like a little chime on that and maybe make it a meme or something. If it don't make dollars, it won't make sense. All right, that's on video. All right, so in the bottom left-hand corner, set an appointment today to get an analysis. Here's what I mean by menu that I put in parentheses, okay? When a client walks in, we give them the menu of options. This is why our franchise operation is so successful right now, and everyone's asking us more and more questions about it. Because when you walk into a lender's office, a mortgage lender, they're pitching you a rate and they're pitching you why you should go with them. You walk into a real estate group, they're pitching you on why real estate's the best and why you should go with them. No one is pitching out there a one-stop shop, pick from the menu type of operation. If I walk into, I'm getting hungry right now, but if I walk into Roscoe's and they got a salad, they got beer, they got chicken wings, they got all these different things on their menu, my reticular activator is going, I want that. And I could pick from the menu. But if they're not showing me that on the menu, guess what I'm not getting? I'm not getting that. So if I have a client that has a life insurance need, they want a retirement plan, they want to roll over their 401k, their mom needs a Medicare plan, they possibly want to buy a piece of real estate, they want a secondary real estate, they want units, they want a 27-unit property, they want construction loan, all these different things. My menu's bigger than your menu. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? So having a franchise in the financial architects and plugging it into any operation that's already successful obviously does you and your clients a great justice, okay? So I'm gonna open it to some questions. And the reason why I said set an appointment, if somebody invited you down to this particular presentation, please reach out to the person that invited you. We have these every single first Tuesday of the month. Every first Tuesday, 7 p.m. sharp. Why do I do this every Tuesday? To offer value for every person needing a financial tool that's going to get them to somewhere better than they currently are. So what we normally do is we take a snapshot of where they're currently at and where they want to be in the future. All right, let's open it up to some questions. I've got no time left, but I'm gonna open it to some questions. Does anybody have any questions with respect to what I was speaking about? Awesome. I'd like to make some, to recognize a couple bit different people. Celeste and Ish, they run a very successful real estate and mortgage company. Can you send me the slides? I can, for a minimal fee, George. George is out in the, George, where you at? LBC, Long Beach? Whittier. George is out in the Whittier area. He's one of our clients. He's been with me for almost 10 years now. Big shout out to my boy Manny. Manny is here. He does title. If you guys are real estate agents and you're looking for title rep, he's really good at it. Him and his partner Marlena, one of my faves. I got Victor Rosales on here. I know that he does real estate and mortgages. I also have Anna, which is one of our brokers here. I obviously take favorites from people that are in our organization, obviously. Blanca's on here. She does real estate and mortgages. I know that a lot of you guys do some different things, but I'll just mention Ahmed is on here. Ahmed, do you want to answer that question?
I could. Yeah, not a problem, man. How you doing?
Good, man. Do you want to answer that question about the riverfront construction?
Yeah. So I guess the question was, if I remember correctly, first off, I got my my TFA t-shirt on, so everyone take notice, but either I win or I learn, right? Yeah, you like
that's right, baby.
You like that.
If you guys want a t-shirt, we'll send you one.
Yeah. So rule of thumb, commercial property, commercial investment property, non-owner occupied is, rule of thumb, 25% down payment. It can go as high as 35% depending on the property and the borrower entity, or it can go as low as 20 to even 15% if you're a very large, owner of properties and have a pretty extensive portfolio that the bank could use as equity or leverage against other stuff. So rule of thumb, though, any sort of commercial property that's non-owner occupied would be about 25%.
Okay, sweet. If you'd like to know more, Nina, just go ahead and reach out to him. I know that he's one of our clients. He's one of my, I've known him since college. So I know a lot of different people on here, more than 20 years. So there's a great audience that's here. Matter of fact, maybe our next TFA Tuesday, what's the date in our next TFA Tuesday? June, the first Tuesday of June. If you guys are taking notes, I'll either do it on living trusts, I'll do it on rollover IRAs, I could do it on June 1st. Wow. On units, I could do a bunch of different options, but we are starting an investment group too. It's called the AI group, the all investment group, where we're going to be stretching our arms a little bit more into different avenues. And it is going to involve a lot of you guys that are on this Zoom. We had more people than I expected showed up to the Zoom, which I'm totally thankful for. Thank you so much for taking the time out, ladies and gentlemen. But a good opportunity only becomes great when you act on it, obviously. So I think it's important that everybody share the information. I think it's important that everybody post about it, get on your social media handles, and let everybody know how great the TFA Tuesday was. I did put a lot of time and effort inside the slides. I think it's important that everyone understands that this is not something that I just threw together in 20 minutes. There were several of you guys that helped me out. Thank you so much. My staff is amazing. Mariah is awesome. She also helped me a lot with the slides. Jay-Z, thank you so much. And I know Natalia is actually taking video as we speak. So a lot of this content will go on our social media. So if I don't have any more questions or comments, thanks so much, everyone. Great information. Thank you, Philip. So I know a lot of people got great content. Carlton, thank you so much for saying so. Nina, thank you so much for being on here. And we look forward to our next TFA Tuesday. Hit us up on Facebook. We do have a Facebook page called TFA Tuesdays, and you can request us or DM us so that we can add you on the Facebook group. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a terrific evening, and God bless everybody. Bye-bye.